EGM Network.
This is Martha Matters. From real estate, healthcare, current events, taxes, or just about any topic, we're talking about it. Call us with any questions on just about any subject. Now, here she is, Martha!
Well, hi, and welcome everyone. Well, there's never a dull moment, it seems, this whole last year and next year, and right now is no different. There is looming over us by the, literally looming over us now the next couple of days, is a possible shutdown again, which I think is totally ridiculous. And I'll tell you why it's ridiculous. There are a lot of people, Republicans and Democrats, who are concerned about the ICE situation in Minnesota. ICE does not have trouble in the other states, anything like this. And anyway, I don't want to discuss that part of it so much right now, but I do want to tell you it is ridiculous to have a shutdown again, and I'll tell you what they want. They want to reduce funding to Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and think that that means maybe ICE will be less influential. That is no further from the truth. I wish everyone, Republicans and Democrats in both houses, the Senate and Congress, I wish they would read the contracts and bills that they sign. First of all, ICE funding was in the big, beautiful bill, whatever you want to call it, a few months ago, and it goes through the 2029. So ICE funding is not going to be changed. If you reduce Department of Homeland Security funding, you are cutting out FEMA. You never know who, where, or when we're going to get a tornado or a hurricane. And by reducing in this budget anything for DHS, you're going to reduce FEMA and not be able to handle a disaster. The good part is, like last year, we didn't have any disasters of magnitude and certainly no hurricanes. So we really lucked out. And we don't know if it's a trend or we don't know if that was a one-time piece of luck, the way the winds blow. And next year could be bad again. Things like that we don't know. But to eliminate FEMA funding when people's lives are at stake after hurricanes, and quite truthfully, right now, with this big storm that they had in the Northeast and another one at the end of the week, a possible nor'easter that is just as bad and giving just as much snow, who knows? Right now, as I speak, from the storms up north, even though the airline industry is getting back to normal as I'm speaking, 34 people have died in their homes due to lack of electricity and therefore lack of heat and no shelter near enough for them to walk or be picked up at to go to. 34 people have died. Now, with all the FEMA industry from Department of Homeland Security, we need FEMA. It isn't just hurricanes. in August, September, and October, there are everything from tornadoes to unnamed thunderstorms that can be vicious. I had, right near where I live, a very large flagpole, a really, really thick flagpole, knocked over in an unnamed thunderstorm. If anyone was near or under it, it would have been a tragedy.
Yeah, and you're talking about the stuff that this year, Martha, the season of it in Florida specifically, but there were a lot of floods and other things that happen around the country, which FEMA is always getting involved in.
Yes.
So it's not just Florida, and you have a good point there with the storms. I mean, who saw this storm? Some places got 30, 35 inches of snow.
But that's right. And if you remember all that flooding in the hill area of Texas.
Yes.
I mean, that might as well have been a hurricane, really, for all the flooding and what the people had to deal with. So they're not thinking and they're not reading what they sign, both Republicans and Democrats, when they want to reduce DHS, Department of Homeland Security. And the first thing off the top that's limited is any FEMA money. That is ridiculous.
Why is this then the propeller to shut the government down?
I really don't know. I think it started in Congress. I think the 8 Democrats that signed to end the shutdown and all the Republicans, except for I think 2 or 3 of them, voted against ending the shutdown. But the 8 Democrats that wanted to get rid of the shutdown, they're hesitant now on voting to stop a shutdown.
Okay.
So we don't know how they're going to vote. We're only talking about a very few days from now. We're talking about January 31st, which I think is a weekend. But we need the votes to stop the shutdown. Unfortunately, it's with most Republicans. The majority of them will not vote for a shutdown and will vote for the passage. And of course, Fetterman, as the Democrat, doesn't want to shut down. He said, every time there's a shutdown, the military don't get paid, starting a week later. Mm-hmm. And he brought up a very good, Fetterman, common sense discussion on it. He said, the military, when they know that there's another shutdown again, and it was the Democrats who voted for it, like a couple of months ago, they're all turning Republican or independent as voters. Now, when you say, that the military isn't that many people, I said a couple of IBM plants may even have almost as many people as we have soldiers. Yes, but when you consider the spouses, wives and husbands, for a good percentage of them, and you also consider even the older ones in their mid-30s to mid-50s, they all have married kids out of the house, and they're going to support their mom and dad and not want to see a shutdown. So when you add all those extra things, or close neighbors and friends of military who don't want to shut down, let alone other people, that military ends up being quite a voting bloc in all 50 states. It counts. And what I'm saying is, if the Democrats vote for now, right before midterms, a shutdown, how do they think they're going to win midterm elections this November, and even getting representatives that are Democrats in primary playoffs this June. I mean, come on. The Democratic Party will be losing too many votes by having another shutdown now. They're just not thinking. And we're not talking about a massive spend-over budget. We're not talking about money going to waste. We're still spending less on education and getting ready to close down that department. We're still making more money with tariffs to now we're going to start reducing the debt. All kinds of positive things happening. There's just no reason to do a shutdown now. And I wish whether Republicans or Democrats and Democrats, I should say, will start using their head. The bad part of politics is they really want two things. They want to give enough money, good or bad, to shut people up. And the bottom line is they all want to be reelected. They're not thinking of the right thing for the country. Many of them are not. They're after their own skin, and if they don't want to retire, they have to shut their mouths and play politics and vote for things that they don't even believe in. A good example is Schumer, but you can make a whole list of Republicans and Democrats that are really only concerned about their longevity and continuing to serve in Congress.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people look for or talk about the term limits.
Yes, term limits is really, really, really called for, so that what you're talking about does not happen. And that's what's happening now. Many of the Democrats don't even know what they're voting yes or no to. If they knew that this had nothing to do with ICE, the shutdown there is purely Department of Homeland Security, and that is FEMA. We all want to be taken care of if we have a catastrophe in our backyards.
Right, disaster. Well, that's what you rely on the federal government for.
Right, and that's what the government, all the states need help from the government.
Right.
And it's just really a shame. If they'd read what they're voting for or against, it would be very obvious, because already bipartisan efforts are in agreement on everything else. The only sticking point is DHS.
Yeah, well, it seems like they're using it as a leverage tool.
Yes, one item as a leverage tool and said yes to everything else for the next budget. Now, really, really, this is shameful. Republicans and Democrats who want to eliminate FEMA, if they vote for the shutdown, that's what they're voting for. They're not voting for anything to do with ICE. They're not voting on any funding regarding removing people from the country. All of that is paid for on a different program, and nothing's going to change. So people, instead of thinking DHS should be reduced, they need to look at what they're reducing by voting for a shutdown. In addition to that, I just got done telling you they're all also going to lose voters with another shutdown. When we find out, and it's transparent, who the Republicans are who are voting for a shutdown and who the Democrats are who are voting for a shutdown, the people are no longer stupid. they're not going to vote for those people's reelection in whatever state they represent.
Especially now, coming so soon after the one that just happened, it seems like this should be able to be stopped.
Yes, it should. And they've worked hard on everything else, and everything else they've either compromised or they're in full agreement on.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else in the budget.
Yeah.
This one item is the only sticking point. And to bring you up to date, Trump had a big talk very recently with both the governor of Minnesota and the mayor. And they are now in agreement. They will let ICE go into the jails, and whoever's an illegal who committed crimes, which they're in jail for, they'll let ICE remove them peacefully. They didn't do that up until now.
And that's Minneapolis, isn't it?
That's Minneapolis.
Yeah, the mayor of Minneapolis, and then the country,
right,
the country,
and
state
Tim
of
Walz.
Yeah.
Tampon Tim. But anyway, also, any people that the police department within the last month and a half have arrested in Minneapolis, they want a list of those people, whether they were released or whether they were put in jail, and have them removed. Just peacefully leave the jail and go right in the truck and be deported.
Well, if they're illegal, I mean, there you go. They're illegal.
So, and they said if you do that, we will have ICE totally off the streets, and you take your people off the streets and let all the businesses reopen and business go on for everybody's benefit. Mm-hmm. And somehow or other, with this discussion with both the mayor and Tim Walz, boy, they are in agreement, and all of a sudden, everything's hunky-dory. I hope that's true. It's started already with them deporting some of the illegals from the jails who have committed various crimes. And believe me, they don't put people in jail for an unpaid parking ticket. They've got to be real crimes. So I think all of that is on the up and up, and let's hope that both Congress and the Senate are not stupid on their voting. It has nothing. If they're stuck on Department of Homeland Security that's been doing a big job with the border closed and everything else, this is utterly ridiculous. It's political only, at the detriment of not only military, but several people not being, of other government workers not being paid. They're going to lose their votes. So we need to take a break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So stay with us.
At Evergreen Media, we know the people, the businesses, and the work needed to take your marketing to the next level. We know where locals go to shop, work, and have fun.
We're here to focus on your local advertising so you can focus on your business. This is our home. This is our business. Evergreen Media. We market, you grow.
Are you opening a used car lot, pawn shop, a restaurant that will serve beer and wine? In the state of Florida, these and many other industries require a Level 2 live scan background check for clearance to work in your industry. A1A Fingerprints is your certified live scan source from Broward to Brevard. And if you're a medical provider, you need to be registered on the ACA web portal. A1A Fingerprints will help you navigate and comply with the law. Call 772-494-6556 or visit A1AFingerprints.com. A1A Fingerprints.
Healthy retirement starts at Treasure Coast Community Health. Short waits, easy scheduling, on-site services, wellness visits, chronic care management, and same-day sick visits. Call 772-257-8224 or visit tcchinc.org.
Well, it's that time of year. It's time for the Vero Beach Prayer Breakfast. Charlie Kirk's close friend and pastor Rob McCoy will be joining us to share his crucial insights. Also speaking is English author and theologian Oz Guinness.
The Vero Beach Prayer Breakfast will be held Thursday, February 12th at the Indian River County Fairgrounds. Tickets are selling fast at verobeachprayerbreakfast.com. That's verobeachprayerbreakfast.com.
Hi there. Welcome back. Hey, we still have a couple of minutes of extra things that I want to tell you. One is, quite honestly, there's something that you listeners can do about this. Call the office of your local congressman, or congressional representative, I should say, and your senator. You're not going to reach them, but they do have a line. If you flood the line with everybody calling saying, do not have a shutdown, stop, do not have a shutdown, even if you don't get to speak to the people, which I fully understand, you probably won't, flood the lines with what you want. We want everything to go as usual, not for certain groups of people to lose their salary for goodness knows how long. Let's not have a shutdown. Let's get on with things being done. And if you just flood the phone calls, I hate to say it, like these Rotary people call us at home, and we have to either answer and hang up or not answer it or what have you. When you leave a message, it still gets recorded. So, regarding your senators and congressmen, please call them all up, Democrats and Republicans. It doesn't matter. And just say, we do not want a shutdown. No shutdown. Please. Represent us. We do not want a shutdown. And that's what you can all do. And I'm going to be doing that even myself, calling them. They don't have to listen to my podcast. I just want them to know that we do not want a shutdown. We've had enough of it. So please, folks, you can do something, and please just take a few minutes out to do it. And I realize around the country there may be several out. That's true. If you're in those areas, seem to be getting back in service a lot better. So if you don't have a cell phone, borrow your neighbor's cell phone. And right now with the bad weather conditions, but call either way. Don't have a cell phone that works or a landline that works, go to a neighbor or a friend. We're not talking about much more than 15 cents for this type of phone. So Please do it. And on that note, have a great, great week. Hope everything gets better for you.